Hello everybody, welcome back to Layout again. This video I'm going to do a how-to on making cheap and easy manual ground throws for Atlas turnouts. I'm using Atlas custom line turnouts. As you know, there's no center spring in them, or they're not sprung, however you want to talk about it. So you need some sort of way to throw them and hold them where they're at. My plan was to use Caboose Industries manual ground throws, which I'm probably going to use for most of them, but I have, I think, 7 turnouts that are too close to other track that there's just not room to use them. So I come up with well, I didn't come up with it, but I didn't find a whole lot of information about it out there. There's one YouTube member that did a video demonstration of this, but I figured I would do one too. It's just a simple overspring method. So let me get things set up. I will kind of do my best to show you how I do it, and so far it's working out pretty well. If it keeps working out this well, I might just use it for all my turnouts. But let me get things set up and I'll show you what I do. Okay, here we are with the list of tools and material that you're going to need to make these. First off, got brass tubing, 1/16 inch brass tubing. I bought that at Hobby Lobby. There's 4 in a pack for $3.99. 32 thousandths of an inch music wire. There's also 4 in a pack, and I also got that at Hobby Lobby for a $1.29. You need a 1/16 inch drill bit, X-Acto knife, a file, a couple pair of pliers, preferably one of them being a needle nose set of pliers, wire cutters, and you might need a small hammer and a punch. It's handy to have that. You might need it, you might not. You'll see as we go forward with this. Anyways, first thing we need to do, also you need a drill. Alright, so let me get this set up and we'll get started. I'll show you what to do next. Okay, before we get started making one of these, I want to show you a finished product of what we were making. Maybe that'll be a little bit easier to explain if you see what we're making. Unfortunately, I don't know how well this is going to show up, because when I try to zoom in with this camera, everything gets blurry. This is not a very good camera. But as you see here, I have one already made up. It's a center overspring, and all it does is provide tension one way or the other when you throw your turnout. And if you can hear that clicking, you know that's a good one. That's actually the best one I ever made. So let me get this set up, and I will hopefully be able to show you how to make one of those. Okay, the first thing we need to do is take your drill and your 1/16 inch drill bit, and we're going to drill a hole right down in the middle of this turnout. And where you want to drill, I go 2 ties over from the drawbar, the throw bar. It's actually right beside the nail hole in these turnouts, and you want to go down this right between the ties in the center of the track. Now you want to be careful, because as you drill, because once this drill breaks through the table, it's going to want to go down and hit your track. The drill is going to want to hit your track like that. So you don't want to damage it, so go slow, and it doesn't hurt to ream out the hole a little bit. Alright, we got the hole made. Okay, now that we have the hole drilled, You need to determine the thickness of your bench work, including any road bed you might have down. And you're going to take your brass tubing and you need it to cut it to length so it reaches from a spot just below maybe your railroad ties, and just poke out the bottom of your bench work. And I just used a Dremel to cut it to the length I needed. Whatever you find works for you, go ahead and do it. I did have some sharp edges or some burr on it, so that's what the file comes in handy for. Yeah. File, I already did it, of course, I'm just kind of demonstrating. And I take my X-Acto knife and make sure there's no ID burr, because we will be sliding that wire down in it, and you want it to slide nice and easy. So I just twirl that around in there to get rid of any ID burr that might have happened when I cut it. Now I'm going to take this, and as soon as you find your hole that you drilled, slide it down in. Now sometimes it's really snug. That's where you can use your hammer and your punch. I didn't have to on this one, but you want it to be snug so it stays put and doesn't slide out. Like I said, and we'll just, you can always stick your hand underneath, double check. Yep, okay. Now the next thing we need to do is bend our music wire. Now that's the trickiest part of this whole thing. I'm going to flash up a picture here of what a finished bent piece looks like, because I don't think my camera is going to show it up very well. This is one I already have made, but I will also flash a picture right now. Okay, so that gives you an idea what kind of bend you want to put in it. I'm going to reset this camera up and try to do this for you, and I hope it works out all right. Be right back. Okay, we got piano wire, or music wire, whatever you want to call it. I already have one made up, so I'm going to use that as a guide so I can tell how to make another one. If you don't already have one made up yet, basically there's no set way of doing it. I just get down by my turnout and I kind of guesstimate as I make my bends as to where I need to do it. My suggestion is, once you get one that works really nice, use it as a guide to make the rest of them. I think it'll be a lot easier. But the trick is getting the bends in the right place for it to work properly. And it's hit or miss. You might get lucky, you might not. You might be able to fix the one you already made. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes you just gotta throw it away and start again. Like I said, that's the most difficult part of this. But we'll give it a shot. Now the first bend I start with is just the small end that's going to fit down into your throw bar. You just want to put a small 90-degree bend in it. I'm using my needle nose. I'm able to bend this just with my hands. If you can't, that's what the second set of pliers are for. You just want to put a small 90-degree bend in it. Hopefully that shows up. Next, we will be putting this like V-shaped bend in it. So you want to turn your wire so that we're putting the V shape in it. Now, I'm going to use this as a guide so I can kind of get an idea of where I need to put my bends. Alright. Move back a little bit. And hopefully the picture I showed you earlier gives you an idea. Now you don't want to bend it a whole lot, just put a nice little, just a little bit of a bend in it. I'm going to double check. It's not looking too bad. The next step, all we have to do is put the last 90-degree bend in for the long side that's going to go down into your brass tube. Now again, I'm going to try to eyeball this and hope for the best. And I'll tell you right now, you're probably not going to get this right on your first try. I might not even get this one right, and I've already made some. Alright, we got the bends in it. Now, you want to take your wire cutters and nip it off here somewhere so enough goes down into your tube, and it'll hold it. It'll take some force to cut the wire, and watch that it doesn't go flying on you. Now we made one. Now the next step is to test it out and see if it works. Let me get you guys set up and we'll give it a shot. Okay, let's give this a shot. Now that we have the bends in it, slide it down into your tube. Now the point of this is that this top piece that goes across the top, you want it to be slightly longer than the distance it is from your tube to the hole in the center of your throw bar. That gives you your little bit of tension. I'm sorry, my hand's in the way. Get that down. You might need take like needle nose pliers and kind of, or your hand, just bend that V in a little bit so you can get that other piece into your throw bar, and then test it out. And that's not the best one I've made, but it is working. As you can see, there's just enough tension to hold it one way or the other. And I'm telling you, it's going to frustrate you trying to get the correct bends in it. I've thrown many away till I got one that worked. I'm not 100% satisfied with this one, but it's working. If you don't like it, you can always make another one. But that's how you do that. It's cheap. It's homemade. It's not necessarily easy because it can get frustrating because of that, the bends, making the bends in it. But hey, it's a homemade manual ground throw. Guess that's about all I want to tell you. Like I said, I didn't find too much on the internet about this. I found a couple things, and they're, you know what I mean, that's where I got this idea. Now most people, they use the nail hole instead of putting a brass tube down in there, but for me, I don't think that would hold up very long doing it that way. So I wanted something that would last a while, so that's why I decided to use the brass tube in there.